This is Tiger Ascari. Thanks for coming back. I just got off of work. I work overnights. And on my drive home, I was just thinking about something. Uh, you know, I think that would kind of relate to some people that are just like kind of just over their 30s, in between their 30s, maybe their early 40s. But a lot of times, what you see online are a bunch of young people that are multimillionaires that are making it. And it could kind of get you down a little bit because you feel like you wasted a lot of time. I mean, well, I'll just kind of put this on myself. Yeah, I did waste a lot of time. I wasted I don't want to say I wasted my 20s, but I kind of floundered in my 20s because now I'm 33 years old. I'll be turning 34 this year. And now, as I'm older, but I understand where I want to go and what I want to do as far as a career, and kind of having a clear outlook for myself. I'm not going to let the time that I wasted hold me back from what I want to accomplish now, because it's never really over. We're not doomer pilling over here. We're not black pilling over here. We're never doomers over here. Okay. I'm not going to black pill myself into stagnation and just saying, oh well, that's it. It's over. Screw it. I'm not motivated about my destination. I'm not, when I look on Instagram and you see a bunch of 20 something millionaires driving Ferraris in Miami, someone on a yacht with like 50 girls or whatever, yeah, would that motivate or kind of like excite some men to kind of do more? Maybe. And those things sound nice. But I'm more looking forward to the journey of getting where I want to go. And also, it's we got to kind of take a step back and look at the mathematics. A lot of those people either are kind of like what I said in my last video, are either A, they ain't really got it like that, or B, if they do, they're probably stretching it, or if they really do have it like that, and they are living that kind of lifestyle, then that they're in the top 0.001% of just people in general. Most men don't become millionaires until like they're in their 40s and 50s. So this idea that you're going to be like some young 20 something multimillionaire, it is a very, very rare prospect to have. And you shouldn't, as men, we shouldn't get discouraged by this. Now at the same time, we should. I think younger men today, Gen Z men, and probably I'd say Gen Alpha, guys that are starting to come up here. I think they have the advantage of us, of them, seeing millennials fail. They have the advantage of getting information much faster, and seeing, all of these different perspectives at the drop of a hat. I myself as a millennial, I remember the early ages of the internet and early forums. Like when I was in middle school, I'd be on 4chan, and that was kind of a very, very early way of kind of seeing different perspectives when I was younger. And then Twitter came out, and then Twitter just kind of became what it was. But I think the younger generations of men are going to have the advantage of seeing all these different perspectives and kind of moving off of that. Like you have, especially dealing with women. You have these podcasts like Fresh and Fit or the whatever podcast or what have you that are kind of showing you in real time how women, or at least the modern woman, acts, or what they believe in. And despite people saying, like Fresh and Fit, for example, despite people saying that, oh, they're cornballs, or oh, these are just Miami OnlyFans girls, when they have the analytics on their own show, and they've interviewed over thousands of women from around the world with college degrees, without college degrees, that are unemployed, that are just out of high school, that are college, that are in college, that maybe work a 9 to 5, or they have their own job, from very accomplished women to not accomplished women, and they all kind of think the same way. So we have to realize that social media only showed the other gender what they really are, if that makes sense. Uh, Engaging with women online. I mean, there's a lot of thirsty men out there. The most men just aren't gonna make it. Sorry, Z's. Sorry, Z. Most men just aren't gonna make it. And the reason why is they need to. I believe that most men need to let go their vices. I drink rarely now. I used to be a pack a day smoker in the army. And like I said, I wasted a lot of time and I could have been better with my health, but I'm overcoming that now. But younger generations are going to be seeing the mistakes that older men made with their lives, with their money, with women, etc. And they're going to take big advantage of that. So I would only say that it's not over just because of what some influencer doomer says online. I mean, they could be trolling, sure, but it's never over. It's never over. Imagine some men that just never wake up, even after getting divorced multiple times, losing money, losing businesses, losing their kids, losing their house, their car, etc., to a woman that, didn't really care about them that much. I think we're going to see a new generation of men that, although yes, we're living in an age of the modern woman where women are willingly selling themselves online for money. I think the more men that actually reject these types of women from a romantic standpoint, the better it would be for everybody else. We shouldn't be engaging in this ecosystem. Although I do agree with Fresh and Fit on, like, okay, this is how women act, this is how women are, it doesn't mean that we have to indulge that behavior, because it's a wheel. It's a wheel. Okay? And it takes the women are the wheel, but that wheel ain't going anywhere unless men spin it. And unless men spin it and reach out and touch it. You know what I mean? So for every man that self-improves or goes through the effort to understand the world around them, to understand money, to understand women, to understanding their place and where they're at in society and trying to overcome that. For every like one guy that does that, I think there are probably like 10,000 or 100,000 men that just don't understand that are just going through the motions. And we got to be more vigilant. We just have to. We got to be more vigilant, and we got to go through extra steps to make our lives better. Because if we build ourselves into strong men, into strong, preferably Christian men that uphold the faith and have certain moral values and move about in a certain way and get our money right and getting our bodies right, then yeah, the one thing that most men want, the money, what is it? Looks, fame, money, or looks, fame, money. Those things will come. Even fame, fame in a certain way. You'd be surprised who's watching your social media. You'd be surprised who's watching your social media, who's watching your Instagram, who's, for older people, who's watching your Facebook, Twitter, etc. You would be surprised. And if you're doing the right thing and you're making a name for yourself, yeah, but, oh yeah, people are watching. People are watching. So I would leave you with this. You got to be excited for the journey. The destination can motivate you and excite you too, but you got to mostly be excited for the journey. And along the journey, you also have to learn about how the world pushes against you and how you can push against it. How money works, how women work. Because if you don't understand those things while you're trying to go to the gym and make more money, if you don't understand how to manage your money, if you don't understand how to spot the right woman that can, I think most men, in my opinion, I'm just kind of pulling this off the top of my head. I think most men still want at least one woman in their life and to have kids, and possibly even get married. But it's finding that right woman is increasingly more difficult. So we got to understand how women move, and then once you understand how women move, you can act accordingly. It is always a risky venture, but I mean everything, and there are certain risks in life that are high risk, low risk, and in order to succeed, you got to take the risk. You just got to. So with all that, peace out.